Welcome back to the Stockwell Eldridge Show. I'm Jason Stockwell.
And I'm Dawn Eldridge.
We've had a great show so
Really
far.
good
We're
show.
entering the last segment on all kinds of things with Atlas Defense. We have Stephanie Havel with Wells Fargo here, who invited Mark on from the Trust Vets organization. And it's been a lot of information. So if you listen to the first three segments, I don't want you to get overly paranoid or overly anxious. So there's a few opinions I have, and Stephanie and Dawn and Mark can comment on them. First thing is that as you go about in your day with the terror attacks and things that are going on, it can be paralyzing to some people. It can actually stop you from doing things that you want to do. It can stop you from doing things that you need to do or have to do if you let it get to you. So it's a balance in what's going on. And then same thing with the drug. We have a major drug problem in this country with addiction to prescription drugs, and anxiety is a cause of that. So if you're highly anxious or you get highly anxious, then you get on drugs, and then that can be a bad thing for you as well. And then the other thing that I wanted to chat on, and you guys can comment on this, is if you see something, say something. Well, some people that hear that can take that too far as well, right? So there's a lot of people being killed, or cops come out to a scene, or police come out to a scene where it might be somewhat innocent scene, but someone thought, oh my gosh, something's going on there. And then the police come raring to go and drawing their guns and start firing shots at people. So, I mean, and no matter how you are on that aspect, and we love police, we want everybody to be safe, but we also want people not to get killed if possible. And then the other thing is situational awareness, and this is my opinion, is biologically men are probably just naturally situational awareness. We're by nature protectors and things like that. That's just how men are somewhat wired, especially if you have a wife and kids and family. And kids especially, because you're protecting those kids. Women may not be quite as much situational awareness because so it might be helping them. And
I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah.
So start on that.
I was just going to say, I don't know. I'm not a mother, but boy, that motherly instinct.
Oh, motherly instinct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The motherly instinct.
Well, I think I don't know. I'm not going to assume, but I'm guessing kind of where you're going is. I think it's probably different types of awareness where,
Yes.
man, the kind of the protector, but mom, maybe
like
has more of those
take my
gut
example. Me and
instincts.
Katie and the kids go out somewhere. She's with the kids right there. We're all together, but I know what's going on around us a lot more. She knows immediately what's going on directly with
Right,
the
the
kids.
kid puts something in
but
their
I know
mouth
a lot
or,
about who's driving by or who's walking by and things like that. And I'm not a paranoid person, but I'm always watching for danger to hit the kids. Not that she isn't, but they have needs at that particular moment in time.
Right, yeah, no, I can see
you know
it.
what
Yeah,
I mean?
she knows if they've put a rock in their mouth or something
more,
like that.
yeah.
And like you said,
generally speaking, so I
big
don't want to
picture.
offend anybody with sex roles and all that stuff. But
But I think Mark, you made a comment about that on the break, though. You talked about training men and women, like almost actually kind of training them a little differently, or couples and things like that.
Yeah, and like I said, really too, I think that coming into it, men kind of have their preconceptions. Unfortunately, may have some of them without any type of formal training have been formed by what they see on TV, on Hollywood, all that kind
Arnold
of stuff.
Schwarzenegger. Yeah.
Schwarzenegger, yeah. I've had.
Y'all think they're Rambo?
I've had to refer, to John McClane so many times, and I'm like, why do you think it's a good idea to, carry with a shoulder rig just because you see John McClane do it, or Bruce Willis,
Right.
all those types of things. I'm like, okay, I understand. Yes, they've got their preconceptions, and also with my female clientele, they're more open to learning something new for the first time, and they kind of retain it a little bit better, mostly because they don't really take those preconceptions. They don't take those images quite as literally, and I think it really is just a matter of application. Guys, we apply it in more of a proactive way, like we're ready to take action at any given time, and again,
That's what I
think
meant
that's
by it.
yeah, and
Yeah,
that's
that's
like
why I think you were
meant
going
more
with
of
that.
biologically, yeah.
More of like if there's a fight situation, usually a guy we have this
Yeah.
thing in us that just says go defend, and we are willing to, like in the Marines,
That
are willing
fight or
to
flight
die
thing,
yeah.
for your
Yeah.
group, right? I mean, you're throwing, that.
I just didn't want you to be
defense,
misconceived
Yeah.
because I knew where you're going with it, but it wasn't coming out that way. I'm just saying, because
Yeah.
Dawn and I look at each other going, for real?
And I think what it comes down to is that how people are absorbing the training. Men
Right.
and females absorb the training a little bit differently, and the thing is too that the rest of the training that's available out there is more geared again towards the men, towards the male clientele, because if you have a massive industry like firearms, of course you're going to train it, or you're going to gear it towards the ideal client. That's
So
gonna be
do you
your-
do? I know we talked about corporations and so forth, but do you do anything like a family? Like maybe Jason, you got a wife and kids. I mean,
For
do
situation
you
wise, yeah.
train like kids as well, or do you advise parents for like?
Yeah.
I mean, or is it
When it
too
comes to
over their
kids,
head?
When it comes to kids, I generally try to have 16 plus
Yeah.
for the cutoff, because there are some, I would say, just the higher level concepts that we try to present in that class, and the exercises that we use too, like the mental visualizations and guided exercises, that kind of stuff. You just kind of need to be at at another reading level, I
Right.
think, to better comprehend all
So
that
do you
kind of
also
stuff.
though like talk about? I mean, maybe in your classes, like so for instance, like with Katie or Dawn, they have.
Oh, for our kids, yeah,
For,
and
like as a parent,
parents, they
how
can
do you
take that home, yeah.
Right. So I was gonna say, do you talk about stuff like Dawn was saying? You're out at the park with your kids, and how do you talk to them or coach them to be aware? I mean, do you kind of talk about that stuff as well, or not so
When it
much?
comes to when it comes to handling kids, especially under 16, a lot of times the parents are going to take. I actually have handouts that I give to my students, and follow up methods too, as far as my online forums and emailing list too, and that is how those parents can take those lessons and give them to their children. Sometimes they'll come to me with those types of specific questions too, and the best advice that I can give them is just to let your kids be not only curious but also naturally suspicious, and that little bit of suspicion on top of your curiosity is kind of what helps form those thoughts that can go beyond just, oh, what's that shiny thing right in front of me, but where did that come from? Where did this guy come from out of nowhere that he doesn't seem to have any kids? You can ask him more questions. Ask him, where are your kids? Or why are you here? You can be straightforward with that. Kids,
think one of the
kids don't
best-
have a problem with asking questions.
Kids will ask
Asking
questions all the
questions,
time.
yeah,
One of the
yeah, good
things,
point.
best things for kids, I think, would be, especially teenagers and adults, take this thing away,
Yeah.
and you'll have a lot more situational awareness, because people are getting hit by cars, they're getting run over, they're getting in accidents,
By trains,
they're
yep.
getting stumbling, tripping, breaking ankles, legs, you name it, falling down steps
because of their cell
because
phone.
of their cell phones. So they're staring at these things all day, and I'm guilty of it, and everybody's guilty of it, I'm sure. And that's a big problem from keeping you aware of what's going on around you.
Yes.
And also, our whole thing of, I was raised in a society, kind of our family culture, mind your own business. They're fighting over there. Keep out of it. Mind your own business. Don't step in. You're just, you know what I mean?
Just gonna make it worse, or you're gonna- yeah.
make it worse. You're gonna step in and do things, and it's gonna cause a problem. And I'm a private individual, so I kind of like if people don't step into my business either. So I kind of respect and I see where they're coming from with that. But there's a gray area, massive gray area with all of this.
And
Same thing
that's
with the anxiety
where
level.
those principles are supposed to
Yeah.
come in. Yep.
How do you get someone's anxiety? How do you handle people that come in there and gung ho, ready to go, and
Yeah.
keep their anxiety level down? They think the sky is falling and everybody's a terrorist. And I mean,
Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought that up too, because like I said before, the point of this training is not to make you like Jason Bourne. I'm not making you into a Marine. I'm not trying to get you guys to memorize license plates. All that type of stuff are just more distractions on top of the distractions that you already have. So a lot of what I'm trying to teach people is just to open up their flow of information.
as a civilian,
As a civilian, yeah. And what that's defined as, and that's what we call the relaxed alert, because you really are, the more that you get in tune with your environment, the more relaxed that you actually be, because you feel comfortable there. And the way that we can accomplish that is by removing those distractions, like you said, like that 3x5 little screen that's in front of you, watching, being conscientious of the other distractions, like having your earbuds in or blasting your radio when you're driving less than 20 miles an hour, especially if you're driving at a slower speed and you can't pay attention to what's going on around you. Again, that's what can contribute to accidents or other types of opportunities.
Do you have? Can you give us your website real quick, Mark,
sure.
and tips on your website and your phone number? and how to get hold-
AtlasDefenseMN.com. I run a blog there that kind of goes into a lot more detail on all these ideas, and that's where there's my contact.
And what's your
information
phone number?
612-492-1297.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mark Holly. If you need any more information, go to Facebook or Stockwell Eldritch Show. If you or your organization need any help with this,
Good stuff. Or
Lots
if
of
you
people
want to
do,
hire a
so.
veteran for anything, go to trustvets.com.
Trust Vets.
Hire a veteran. And I'm Stephanie with Wells Fargo Home Mortgage.
thanks everybody. Remember, love yourself and love
Love
others.
others.
Have a great week.
Something happening, and it's usually quite loud.